Okay, so in this video, what we're going to do is show you guys where to get wxWidgets and how to get it set up on your machine for use inside of .NET.
Right.
Also, how to get it configured for use with OpenGL.
Because that is kind of important, isn't it?
That is. Now, a lot of you guys may have seen the C++ VTM number 4, which was all about wxWidgets. So, as we progress into making the application, we're not going to be explaining all of the wxWidgets calls as in-depth as we did in C++ VTM number 4.
Right.
We will, of course, talk about what each line does, but we are expecting you guys to be familiar with wxWidgets in this particular case, or have watched the C++ VTM number 4.
That's right. So let's go ahead and go to the main website here. So we're at www.wxWidgets.org, and we're going to go ahead and download it. So download, and it's up to 2.6.1 as of this video, and we'll just click download, and we'll download wxmsw.zip. So let's just grab it from somewhere. It's quite big, but it should just take a second or a minute.
Well, we can talk for a minute as we're downloading nearly 19 megs of stuff.
Right. Let's talk about some stuff.
Well, what do you want to talk about, Joel?
I don't know, maybe about how we're going to set this up. We're going to have to recompile it. Okay. And we're going to have to change one thing in the setup.h file to make sure that it supports OpenGL.
That's right.
And then pretty much we're going to have to, there is already an older version of wxWidget set up on this computer. So we're going to have to reset up the path so it's using the newer, latest version.
That's right.
And then everything should be set up.
Yeah, it should be good. And then for creating the application in the next video, it's not going to be as many lines as the Windows API.
And it is more straightforward, so everything should be better.
But there's still going to be more lines than what everyone saw with GLUT and SDL.
SDL, yeah.
Right.
So it's almost done. 50 seconds remaining. Dun, dun, dun. It is a rather large package, but that's understandable.
So what makes this package so large? Is it the fact that it has widgets for everything? I mean, it more or less does.
Yep, it does. And what's really cool is it just has a lot of utilities for it.
Yeah, wxWidgets is actually quite nice.
Yes, very nice. I really like it. It's sometimes a little bit slower for certain things, but generally I really do like it just because it's so complete, and if you need to... if you need a certain specific function, it's really easy to just go in there, and they probably already have it implemented, which makes your life
almost
as a programmer
guaranteed
easier.
that they have it implemented.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got everything from networking to sound to Windows interfaces to, I mean, yeah, everything. It's amazing. Okay, now that we've stalled long enough, the file is pretty much...
2 seconds, 1 second.
Done?
Just like that.
All right, so now we'll go ahead and jump over to where we have pulled it down to.
Right here. And let's go ahead and extract it. A lot of files here.
You don't say.
Uh-huh. All right. Wow.
Yes, these are, of course, things we could have done off screen, but hey, you guys know how we are. We're trying to make sure every single step is done right here live. That's the wonderful thing about the track bar. You guys can just track forward a tad. Right,
if you don't enjoy watching this thing extracting files, then you can track forward. I do, though.
Yes, so do I. As we're over 62% of the way complete. So this is going to be the longest video on how to get one of these window interfaces.
Simply because we have to extract and download such large files.
65,000 files.
Then we're going to have to compile it too, which is going to make it even longer.
Yeah.
Alright, so it's extracted. Let's go ahead and jump into here, jump into the source. And there are 2 ways to compile it. One is with the DSW file here, which opens the workspace, and another which is in the, if I could just find it here, directly opening it from here. It's 2 methods. I'm going to go ahead and use the older-fashioned way, which is from the source directory here. And it's the older WX Windows way, but it's nice because it typically compiles it into one file.
Right.
And works a little bit easier in some cases. So let's go ahead and switch over into here. Let's go into the headers, setup.h, and let me just look for GL canvas. Okay. I'll find it, don't worry. Almost there. It's down here somewhere. Just being difficult. Let's use GL Canvas, but ding ding, almost there. Oh, there it is.
There it went.
All right. So here we are. We're going to set this to 1, and I think that's all we need for the examples that we're going to be doing. So let's go ahead and recompile it. We'll just set up a debug build for this one, and go ahead and build this solution. Now this is going to just take a short little while as well.
Yes, it will. So what was it? Search being a little...
I don't know. I was searching for... I think if I just remembered wxWidgets Canvas, which I seem to have, just wasn't confident about it.
Oh, I got you. Oh, you did GL underscore Canvas, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, you did. And then you did GL.
And then there's
which had 55 million things. And then you just gave up and said, I'm going to search through all, 1,000 lines of code.
Might as well.
You found it.
Yep. So it worked in the end.
And almost there.
Getting close. So you notice that they do give a note here that you will still need to manually add OpenGL32.lib and GLU32.lib, as we've been doing in all the other programs.
Absolutely.
And luckily, since they provide the wxGL Canvas, it makes life a whole lot easier to do any sort of programming, because it provides sort of an interface for you.
Right.
That makes life just 10 times easier.
Well, after seeing the Windows API, I mean...
anything is easier.
Everything's easier. That's not, of course, knocking the API approach.
Oh, not at all.
Just in case.
Once you implement it once, then you're set. And you just use that as a base and throw it off to whatever object-oriented method you want to use.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there are definitely some advantages to taking the Windows API approach.
Right, there is. The biggest advantage would probably simply be just a speed increase, since there's no extra interface, it's direct. The biggest downside, of course, is that, it's only for Windows.
Pure control.
Yeah, pure control.
You do have that.
Should be almost there. All right, so there we have it. Let me go into our files here. Go up a notch, go into library, and see what we've got here. You'll notice we have pretty much just these guys. It creates less files for us. So we have this guy, which is the main guy we're going to be including, and we've got our setup.h. So everything is here that we need. So let's go ahead and go to Tools, Options.
Now, we happen to have an older version.
Yes, we do.
On the machine.
So we'll just pretty much replace.
Right.
We had 2.5.3 before. Let's go ahead and go up to here and just copy this. Replace this, replace this with include. And go to the library. And replace that with lib. Inside of our own project, we'll actually manually include the setup.h file inside the project settings for each one. You could include it inside the main directory here, but I typically include it in the project settings. So it's really a matter of preference. So with that, that's pretty much got it set up.
Ready to start creating our application.
Yep.
So that's going to wrap up this video on how to get the latest version of wxWidgets. I'm looking up at the top.
Yeah, I know.
And get it set up on your machine. So with that, thanks a lot.